Hi friends, we're a little bit late today. It's supposed to be 8:30, but life happens. So, welcome to Coffee Talk with Ashley and Locke. I'm just waiting for him to join. He's joining. I'm getting better at this, I swear. There we go. He's coming.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. I had to switch the camera again because you didn't want to look at the wall. And in perfect starting fashion, our daughter just threw a diaper and wipes at me because she wants me to change her.
Yeah.
So we might have an on air diaper change.
The other daughter asked me if I can. So,
Yeah, yeah, her. I said, hey, leave mommy alone. We're on a thing. We're doing a thing.
um, so I asked you first today, correct?
Yes, yes. You want to read the quote?
Yeah. So this is one of my quotes, and I can hear the. This is
You can hear what?
the washer.
Oh, okay.
Very loud.
I
Um,
can turn it off.
no, it's okay. Um, One of my favorite quotes, and I think really fitting for right now. Um, it's a Dr. Seuss quote. It is, "Be who you are, say what you feel, because those who matter, and those who matter don't mind." Tell me what comes to mind when you hear that quote.
Well, a lot. That's just just a minute, honey. Um, she's asking me to change her diaper again. So a lot comes to mind besides change my poopy daddy. Um, I mean, you and I have talked about this. We've both kind of spent. Well, I'll speak for myself. Your experience is very different but similar at the same time, if that makes sense. But I've spent so much of my life, my younger life, concerned with fitting in, thinking, what other people thought of me, um, changing who I was, or trying to pretend I was different than the way I was because of what other people either thought or I thought they thought. Um, and so, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. It's really powerful, and it's funny that it's from Dr. Seuss, from a children's author. Because on one hand, I wish I had. She's waving you. On one hand, I wish I had learned this when I was reading Dr. Seuss. However old that is, we're still reading Dr. Seuss to our kids. Um, because I
You
feel like, and
froze. We lost him.
are you back?
Yeah, you froze.
I froze? Okay, it looked like you froze, so I just kept talking. So what I was saying was, it's interesting that this is from Dr. Seuss, a children's author, because I almost wish that I had heard this and learned this when I was being read Dr. Seuss as a kid,
Yeah.
because part of my head trash that you and I have talked about, and you remind me it's not fair, but I have a lot of regret. I have a lot of, oh, I wish I had learned this earlier. And what you always remind me of, which I need to hear, is, yeah, but if you hadn't gone through the experiences that you had gone through, you wouldn't be who you are today. And
Yeah.
so, the one thing is, I wish Dr. Seuss had told me this when I was two. To your point, I probably wouldn't have listened because I wouldn't have been ready. I have had to go through the experience of spending, 18, 20 years of my life trying to change who I am just to fit in. And so, like, I don't see it as a waste, although it's tempting to see it as a waste of those years, because it taught me some really important lessons. I learned this quote the hard way on my own, um, to not care what other people think, because if if they don't approve of what I want to do, if I truly want to do it, then they're not in my corner, they're not in my camp supporting me, then they don't matter. And
Yeah.
the other thing I want to add, since one of them is still making faces into the camera, um, it makes me think about parenting too. Um, and I want you to speak about. Can you guys stop, please? I want you to speak about what I just said, because I know you probably have some interesting things to add in terms of how we both, in very different ways, kind of spent our childhoods in similar and yet very different ways, because you have very different. But the other thing about parenting is, it would be tempting to say that this quote is very idealistic as opposed to realistic, meaning, yeah, that sounds good, but in real life, it's different.
Yeah.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's easier said than done, like many things that we know we need to do. But now that I'm in full blown into my kind of parenting years as opposed to my child years trying to fit in, I'm trying to look at it, and I don't do a good job all the time. There are many times that I really screw this up. But I'm trying to look at it as, how can I be that person who matters but doesn't mind to my kids? So who doesn't mind them being who they really are, who's not trying to make them into what I think they should be,
Hmm.
um, who doesn't mind them saying what they feel. And that's the really hard one for me. And we don't need to go down this rabbit hole, but for me, I don't know if it's a man thing, if it's the way I was raised in terms of my family, or if it's like a male societal thing or a male biological thing. I have a really hard time both showing emotion, but also, especially when other people do,
Hmm.
and letting them show it. And it's not openly disrespectful. I'm not aware that I'm being disrespectful, but I'm unable sometimes to respect that their emotion needs to be shown, as opposed to, okay, suck it up and move on.
Yeah.
So it makes me think of parenting too. But what do you, whether it's the childhood thing or the parenting thing, what do you have to add?
Um, well, it's interesting. There's something that you brought up to me that I never really thought of. Um, it's a primal instinct to want to fit in. And like, I didn't think of that, but like in the primal days, they needed each other to survive. So
Yeah,
it's primarily ingrained in us to want to fit in. And it's also like we're constantly from media, from TV, from around us, we're constantly have stuff in our face telling us who we should be. And
yeah.
there's not a lot of the time where we like actually and say like pay attention to the things that we're doing and saying, is this something that I really want to be doing, or am I doing this because the world tells me that I should be doing this? um
Absolutely.
and I think that goes back to what you always say to me. It's our primal instinct to want to fit in. So I think we just go on with our day, and we don't really think about the things we're doing. Like we're so trying to think of the right word. We're so on the go, 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 go,
Busy being busy.
busy being busy, not really thinking about what we want or who we really are. We're just allowing, and I could say blindly, but I don't think, I think it is blindly, but it also is just the way it has become. We're
Well,
just
I
acting,
know I'm interrupting, and I'm sorry. I would say it's willingly, blindly.
yeah,
We are choosing to be blind to it, because if we're opening our eyes, it's too painful. It's too painful to admit.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, and then I just think of for myself, I constantly like wanted to fit in so bad. Like as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult, even after I had my first child, after my second child, I just wanted to
Still.
fit. Yeah, still, but there's a difference, and that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
I just wanted to fit in so bad. And I wasn't not being authentic, but I was acting in a way around certain people to please those people. So like if I was around a certain person that I knew liked certain things, I would try to talk about those things. It was like I was putting on like this
Masks.
yeah, these different masks for different people. And I really was uncomfortable with myself. I wasn't happy. And then I got to a point, and I don't know if it's an age, because I hear people a lot say when they hit like mid 30s, they get to this age where they just don't care. So I don't know if it's like a wisdom with age thing, but I finally got to a point where I was like, this quote, like, the people in my life are going to love and accept me for who I really am, regardless if it's like what they are. They don't need me to be a certain way, a certain mold for them to love and accept me. And that was like really hard for me to come to. And like, not everybody is going to love and accept the person that you really are. And like, those people, like, will eventually weave out and aren't really meant to be in your life.
Yeah.
Um,
I do. Can I say something about that?
yeah, I do want to say one more thing though.
Okay.
Um, I don't think it's ever going to leave us that we want to, like you said, it's never going to go away that I want to fit in and be loved and accepted. It's just realizing and taking a couple minutes each day to be like, am I showing up in a way that will make me proud? Am I showing up in a way that's being real and authentic to myself? It's being able
Right.
to ask myself that question daily instead of just bending over and being what everybody else wants me to be.
Yeah, I
You could,
agree. That's very well said. I think if I can say something specifically to that, and then I'll go back to the, whether people are meant to be in your life or not. Um, I think if you, it's very hard to tell the difference between what someone else or what society or other people want for you and what you actually want. And
yeah,
I think that's the key to being, you said something about being authentic. I think that's the key to being authentic is being able to realize, yeah, that sounds cool and other people want it, but maybe it's not for me.
yeah,
Um, and it goes back to how we started. If we didn't live the lives we've had, if we didn't take the journey we took, we wouldn't be able to make that realization. Dr. Seuss reading us this quote can't make us learn it at 2 years old
no,
as much as I wish it could, because then, that's how my mind works, because then I could be so much better now, but I wouldn't have learned the lesson, which is making me better now. And that's
yeah,
the point.
yeah,
The thing you said something about, so it's those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. And you said something about how those people will, I don't know exactly how you said it, but kind of drift out of your life. A lot of times you've talked a lot in like the blog posts that you've written and the posts that you make on social media about some of your struggles and experiences. I don't know how to put it nicely. It's not meant mean, but with family that is no longer in your life.
yeah,
Um, and I think it's important to point out some people take that as, oh, Ashley's being really cold, or for no reason is just, oh, I don't want to see this person anymore, like a petty reason. Um, to your point about people drifting out of your life, that this kind of conversation, this idea that if people mind what you are or what you're saying, if you're being authentic to yourself and they don't like it, that they shouldn't be in your life. Like, it's not cut and dry. It's not, okay, somebody disagrees with you.
yeah,
In these times, like, it's not hard to disagree with someone about some hot button topics. Doesn't mean they're not supposed to be in your life. It just means, um, there comes a point where, you know, you ask yourself, is this person adding to my life or taking away from it? Is this person making me better or pulling me down?
yeah,
We talk about crabs in the bucket. Is this person trying to pull me back into the bucket of misery and despair when I'm trying to get out? And, you've had some really hard decisions where you decided certain people don't belong in your life, certain family members, other people, not just family members too. And I think sometimes people misunderstand when you talk about that. We're not talking about minor things.
Yeah.
There's very traumatic events that resulted in you not talking to certain people. And we're not suggesting that if somebody doesn't agree with you, they don't be a part of your life. We're just saying, be you.
Yeah.
You do you. You know, we're constantly saying that to each other, sometimes angrily in our house, but you do you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to add. I did also want to point out that I just changed the diaper while we were talking, and
I had
I,
no,
I pat myself on the back. Well, we don't have smell-o-vision, so you can't smell it. So
I
you lucked out.
for movement though. So that's a,
Yeah. Yeah. All
um,
right. Anything else you want to add about this?
no, but I like that you added that because they don't have to agree with you. And that is like 100% about being different and being who you are. Like we're not
Right.
going to agree and we could agree to disagree. And I am all for that. It's you have to ask yourself, is this person making me feel good? Are we having like honest, real conversations, or is this person making me feel really crummy and like
Yeah.
constantly picking at me or making me feel like
Judging.
feel when I'm around that person, and how do I feel when I'm not around that person? Um,
Yeah.
and I'm all for agreeing to disagree. And I have relationships in my life where we don't agree on a lot of things. We don't parent the same. Our marriage isn't the same. We don't have the same beliefs with the world around us. And I still love those people.
Right.
Um, and so it's not about us having to agree and have the same values and the same type of relationships. It's how those relationships make you feel, and if you feel loved, accepted around that person, and vice.
Yeah. It can easily be used, this kind of thinking. We took a Dr. Seuss quote and we went really deep on it.
Yeah,
This kind of thinking can be applied to a lot of like self development kind of thought processes where you need to make some changes in your life. It can easily be used as an excuse to um, I'm trying to think of the right word, an excuse to shortcut doing the real work
yeah,
and 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 just so like you said, it's not about not talking to people that disagree with you. There's a difference between you and I have different views on a presidential candidate or the state of the world or whatever.
yeah,
That's disagreeing. If I'm constantly telling you that you're never you're never going to be able to do that, Ashley. You know,
yeah,
you wanna start a business, you're going to fail.
yeah,
Like you're never going to make any money or whatever it is. That's different than disagreeing.
yeah,
you know that is sabotaging you. That is their own baggage, their own trauma. A lot of times they don't even realize they're doing it. We'll go back to when we were talking about being willfully blind. They have their blinders on and they don't realize how negative they are,
yeah,
how much they're, oh, well, that's just how I am, or they don't even know it and they don't realize what it does to people around them.
yeah,
There's a difference between someone being negative in general, whether it's directed at you or not, or just in general and bringing you down. And there's a difference between that over here, get my hands in here, over here, and disagreeing over here.
yeah.
It could easily be used as a crutch to say, oh, I disagree. I don't want to talk to this person. Um, okay. You want to move on to the question? Okay. I was very distracted in the beginning by a child asking to have their diaper changed. And I forgot to say that today is your birthday.
Yeah.
So happy birthday.
Thank you.
This question kind of not really ties into the birthday, but it kind of has something to do with the birthday. So this question, we went kind of deep on a Dr. Seuss quote. Um, we knew we would because it's a good quote. So we
Yeah.
tried to pick a less deep question. Um, and so this could be a really short answer. This could be a longer answer. Um, it's your birthday. What do you do for fun when you're not in, well, I guess it could be even when you're in mom mode, when you're not in mom mode, when you're not working on your business, when you're not running around doing the million things that we do. What do you do for fun?
This actually can be a deep question for me. I'll try not to go too off. Um, It's interesting because this actually ties in with the quote. We keep doing that and not meaning to. Um,
It's yeah. We could pretend we meant to, but we'd be lying.
so I don't know when it started. I think it was probably like elementary school for me in my formative years, trying, afraid of doing things that were fun, that other kids were having fun with doing. Afraid of
Mm,
doing those things because I was afraid of being judged or laughed at because I get laughed at and made fun of. Um,
yeah, that's a good point.
so like I stopped having fun because I was like, well, what would someone think of me? And that's silly and that's stupid. Like I can't do that.
Hmm.
Um, and I find myself just drawn to all those things that I feel like I missed out on when I was a kid. And it could be this to somebody that I'm telling, it might be like, really? Like that's stupid and you wouldn't do that when you were a kid. And it's like, I don't think you understand. I wouldn't do anything because I was so afraid of looking stupid to other people.
Yeah,
Um, and so like I'm thinking about it. Like we were at the beach and our 11-year-old son was boogie boarding, and I think I boogie boarded with him the whole time, and you didn't know until after that I had never done that in my whole life.
yeah, yeah,
And I didn't know what I was doing. I was getting torn apart by waves, but I was having like I was laughing and having a blast. And like,
yeah. You sounded like a little kid.
yeah,
You
and
you you were just giggling the entire time, and then you told me you'd never done it, and I was like, oh, probably should have known that. Kind of feel like a terrible husband now.
but it's like small things like driving the UTV, playing soccer, just like anything that might seem small to other people. These are the things that I wouldn't do. Like,
Yeah,
and I'm doing now, and I'm having so much fun. I feel like a kid again. And then there's part of me that's like feels like I missed out. Like, what? Like, why did I let other people like control what I did? Like, why did I allow myself to be so not confident in myself and not
yeah.
care and just have fun. But then, like, I don't want to get stuck there in the regret. I just want to do all the things that I didn't do so that I don't regret. Um, and I am. I'm doing all those things and I'm having so much fun and it brings me so much joy. Um, and I guess that's my answer for that.
That's a good answer. Um, yeah, I keep you're saying that, and I keep going back to. I don't think I've ever heard not just you laugh so much. I don't think I've ever heard anyone laugh and giggle so much as when you were having a squirt gun fight with our two oldest kids this summer. And I can relate to what you were saying about this fear of looking stupid or foolish or whatever words you want to use in front of other kids doing the things that bring you pure joy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can still feel that in me and in this specific example because I don't know if it was the same day or a different day. One of these hot days in the summer, our son was like, let's do a water balloon fight today. I think it was this. I think we had a water balloon fight, and then you guys had a square gun fight.
Yeah.
And I remember there, he's like, "Daddy, you want to have a water balloon fight?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay. Like, I'll do it for you, but it's not going to be fun." Kind of thought process. And and it was that same thing rearing its head. That same thing you said rearing its head as an adult. Like, oh, this won't be that much fun. Like, I can't let loose and have fun. I don't want to look foolish. You know, those words are not necessarily going through my head. And then I did it, and I was like, oh man, that's
Yeah.
why he wants to do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a really good answer to the question. It's been really helpful for me to let loose and have more fun too. To be able to watch you doing it helps because you're leading by example, showing me like, don't be so stuck up, let your shit go, and just go have fun.
Yeah.
Um, and seeing you do that has been helpful, and then doing it with you has been helpful. Experiencing it has been helpful. Catching myself and my hesitation to do it. So yeah, that's a really, really good answer. I didn't know you were going to go that deep, and I didn't know you were going to relate it to the quote. So that's awesome. Anything else you want to add? I know we've gone past 9 again. We got started a little bit late today, but anything else you want to add?
The rain is crazy.
Is it? I
Um,
can't even. Oh yeah.
it's like
Yep.
nuts. No, I think that's good. I think I basically said what I did want to say thank you to Lynn because she wished me a happy birthday. Thank you, Lynn.
Oh, awesome. I can't even see what people are saying. So if we missed comments, I'm sorry.
I think that was the only
Okay. I figured people didn't want to see my forehead when I tried to read the comments.
one. Yeah.
All right. So that's it. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're 18 again. Um, we will be back next week,
Yeah.
Friday at 8:30 again.
Yeah.
Um, thank you guys for joining.
Yeah. Thank you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.